Today I am in Congress Green Cemetery in North Bend, Ohio. Now there are a few notable graves in here that we are going to visit, along with the family plot of former President William Henry Harrison. Congress Green Cemetery is located in North Bend, Ohio, very near to the site of President William Henry Harrison's tomb. In the early 1800s, the residents of North Bend established this cemetery. Congress Green was officially closed for burials in 1884. The land was owned by President William Henry Harrison and is the final resting place for several of his family members. There are some notable burials here, however, a more horrific story involving this cemetery is what I took away from my visit. John Cleves Sims was born in the province of New York in 1742 in what was then British America. Sims was a patriot supporting the Revolution and served as the colonel of the 3rd Regiment of the Sussex County Militia. He represented New Jersey in the Continental Congress before moving here to North Bend. In 1794, he purchased a monumental amount of land, totaling 311,000 acres. George Washington signed the patent for the purchase. This would become known as the Sims Purchase. I'm currently at the grave of John Scott Harrison. Now, John Scott Harrison did have one notoriety that no one else has been able to claim thus far. He was both the son and the father of U.S. presidents. John Scott Harrison was the son of President William Henry Harrison and the father of President Benjamin Harrison. He rests within the tomb of his father. Harrison represented Ohio in the U.S. House of Representatives. A lawyer by trade, he was the valedictorian of his class. He died in 1878 and was the last surviving son of William Henry Harrison. And of course, with that particular notoriety, he does have a place in history, but there is another story that's associated with John Scott Harrison that's a little more harrowing. As the family was preparing for the burial of John Scott Harrison, they noticed a disturbance with a fresh grave. Augustus Devon, a nephew of Benjamin Harrison, was buried a week or so before John Scott Harrison. Evidence pointed towards the possibility of his body being stolen. A common yet highly illegal practice of the time was for grave robbers to snatch bodies of the freshly buried and sell them to medical schools for science. John Harrison, John Scott Harrison's son, along with family and detectives, led a charge to find Mr. Devon's stolen body. Their search led them to Cincinnati at the Ohio Medical College. They began searching for Mr. Devon's body but had no success. Upon exit, nearing the end of the search, a tight rope was noticed dropping out of sight. When it was ordered pulled up, the body of an elderly man was revealed. Mr. Harrison dismissed this, noting that Mr. Devon was a young man. As the cloth was pulled from the face, it was revealed to be none other than his father, John Scott Harrison, who was buried just 24 hours earlier. If John Scott's family had not been searching for the body of Mr. Devon, this discovery would have never happened and no one would have known that his body wasn't in his grave. It is worth noting, Mr. Devon's body was found and given a proper burial. What you are seeing here is the family plot of the Harrisons, and there are several members of the family here, as you can see from some of the grave markers. I cannot overstate how much I enjoyed this visit, and the history that I discovered with this visit just goes to show that, sometimes when you go to one of these tours that I do, things do not always end up as you expected them when you first go. And you are never too old to stop learning. A lot of things just in this visit today that I did not realize before I got here.
And it was such a good visit, and I really enjoyed seeing the grave of the only man who was both a son and a father to a U.S. president. So, thank you all for coming along with me to Congress Green Cemetery today. I really appreciate you watching.
And you know, as I always like to do, I do want to thank everyone for watching. Again, this visit was one that was very surprising. It did not end how I thought it would. So you never know what's going to happen when you go on one of these tours. But I want again thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe for me. Click on that bell notification. I greatly appreciate that. I also want to invite you to search for Whit Docs on Facebook and on Instagram. I do document my journeys and give announcements and things from there. Thank you all for watching again, and I will see you again soon.